I always feel very happy when we start any program on time, and it is just 11:30, and our honorable chief guest was here even 10 minutes before the scheduled time, which is a very rare thing these days. Generally, people have to wait, for the chief guest to come. But that has been one of his strongest points, both as a professional, that is, as a lawyer, and then as a judge of the High Court, and then as a judge of the highest court of the land. I don't have to introduce to you Honorable Justice Sikri. I think you can know him better when you read his pronouncements, on various and varied aspects of law. But he is one who believes in promoting not only the rule of law, but also with great emphasis on social justice. His judgments speak for the personality that he is. So I think a warm welcome to our honorable chief guest. The topic for today is trade in legal services, challenges and prospects. I feel a bit disappointed because the word trade has been used in conjunction with legal services. At least in India, I think we have a very different view of the legal profession. It has always been considered as a noble profession. The lawyers of this country have played a very pivotal and important role, not just post-independence, but they were in a way responsible for getting India independence. Our father of the nation, our first Prime Minister, our first President, they all belong to this profession besides so many others. Even today, the Union Cabinet and some of the leaders of the opposition, they all form a very formidable group of lawyers who are now doing their service in the governance of the country. You are familiar with all the names. Therefore, when we speak of trade in legal services, what does it signify? To me, it does not signify that Indian legal profession should change in a way which should revolutionize its previous history, its past culture. I think we have to retain our identity as a profession which is not a business, which is not an industry, which is not a commercial dealing. Therefore, the word trade may not be appropriate in that sense. Having said that, can legal services sector remain in isolation when there are revolutionary changes taking place all over the world? Now the catchword is globalization. Everywhere, economically there has to be globalization, financially, growth-wise, culturally, education, everywhere there is a need for globalization. So we cannot shut our eyes to this reality that legal profession also has to undergo certain changes which are demanded by the forces of globalization, and we are part of WTO and GATS, even though legal services are not yet covered under that. But still, keeping in view this important factor, we have to discuss as to what is the way forward for the legal profession in this country. The Government of India has constituted a very high-powered committee, interministerial group. I happen to represent the Society of Indian Law Firms in that group. The Bar Council of India is also a part of it, and so are some other institutions. They are looking into the question of liberalization of legal services sector in India, thereby meaning that whether legal services sector should be opened up to the foreign lawyers, foreign law firms. If so, then what should be the mode and modalities? So speaking on behalf of the Society of Indian Law Firms, we have already and officially made our stand very clear that we are not against the entry of foreign lawyers or foreign law firms in India, but it has to be done in a phased, sequential manner, as has been done in several other jurisdictions. And that phased and sequential entry of foreign lawyers has to start with liberalization of our profession internally. At the moment, there are so many restrictions on the legal professionals. We cannot even have our proper websites. We cannot have our brochures, you see, of the firms. We cannot even have our entries in the law directories, which are circulated all over the world. Therefore, a lawyer, say, sitting in Chicago, if he wants a lawyer in Kanpur, he has no other way to find out how to go about it except, oh, I have a friend in Delhi, Lalit Bhasin, he will recommend someone to me in Kanpur who will do my case. So that is the state of affairs of the legal profession in India as it obtains today. Therefore, first there has to be like this internal liberalization before we speak of, you see, the competition with the foreign lawyers. And of course, questions of reciprocity and all that, they are also being discussed. But the government of India has taken this initiative. We fully support that. But let us now see what our most eminent speakers today, the chief guest and the guest of honor, what they have to say with regard to this topic of trade in legal services.